Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jayo Radha Gopinath Shri Radhe Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Ashtotra Shada Shri Madhabhaya Charanaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Ashtotra Shada Shri Madbhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupada Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupada Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur की जय जय नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट ओम विष्णुपाद वैष्णव सर्वभौम श्रील जगन्नाथ दास बाबूजी महाराज की जय श्री गौरिया वैष्णव गुरुवर्ग की जय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री वसति गौर भक्त वृंद की जय गंगामय की जय जमुनामय की जय भक्ति देवी की जय तुलसी देवी की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल all glories to the assembled devotees Hare Krishna all glories to assembled devotees Hare Krishna all glories to assembled devotees Hare Krishna all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga all glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, today we will have a brief, I've been informed to keep it short, a brief discussion on the glories of Balram, Srila Baladeva ki jai. Before we begin, we'll start with a Mangala Charan. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Soyam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpite Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Goratvashe Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vandeham Shri Rama Krishna Abhaya Charanau Sakho Sukhadau Paramanando Sundaro Subalapriyo. So, today we are discussing, of course, the glorious appearance of Balram, right? And Balram, he is a very interesting and important figure. Who can tell me, who is Balaram's mother? Rohini, right? And what does this mean? Rohini is where? Where does she live? Well, she's normally living in Dwarka, right? Isn't that right? She's not really a cowherd person, right? Not really. No. And what do we hear? When is Balaram born? Sorry? Seventh child? Actually, he's born to date. No, I'm joking. No, he's a seventh child, right? But he's born in a prison cell. He's not born in Vrindavan, is he? No. So this is very confusing. What do we do with Balaram, right? Because we speak about Balram, Krishna Balaram together in Vraj, right? Isn't this what we all hear? Running around, playing together, right? Sometimes they'll play all sorts of games. Sometimes Subal and Shridam, under the shelter of the beautiful trees of Vraj, they will find Krishna seated there. And all together, all of the gopas, they'll come and they'll bring all different flowers, all different leaves, they fold it into different decorations, and they'll bring them in all of these different ways, right? And then the preeminent cowherd boys, they will take these, and under Balaram's guidance, they will decorate Krishna, right? And they'll put all of these items and they'll decorate him so beautifully, right? And then, of course, Madhumangal. Do we all know who Madhumangal is? Who is Madhumangal? He is one of the cowherd boys, right? And what caste is he? What varna is he? He's a Brahmin, right? So he sees this, and then he says, Krishna. Who is Krishna? Krishna is like, he's this Vaishya person. I am a Brahmin. Actually, this is very improper. For Krishna to be getting all of this respect and me getting no respect, I think all of you are very, very bad religious people. And in this way, Madhumangal, he says, I should be getting decorated like this. So in this way, Madhumangal, he expresses his anger. And then they all think, okay, very good, we'll do this. So those same cowherd boys who were decorating Krishna, they said, we will get our own little tree and we'll put you under it. So what would happen is they would take Madhumangal and they would walk with him. And then seated under this other tree, they would all smile and they would decorate him. And they'd say, wow, you look so beautiful. Except where they would get the beautiful flowers for Krishna, they got all the wilted, broken flowers for Madhumangal. And instead, when they used to decorate so elegantly and gently all of the different powders and ornaments on Krishna, they would put it on Madhumangal and gave him big cheeks like a clown, right? And in this way, they decorated him and made him look absolutely like a lunatic. But they didn't let him know this. As they were decorating him, they were ecstatic. They were smiling and laughing. And they were so filled with happiness. Why were they filled with happiness? Well, they were filled with happiness because they were going to humiliate him. But Madhumangal, he felt, oh, actually, they are smiling in happiness because they're so happy that they can serve me. So in this way, they are decorating Madhumangal. And then what happens is, they bring him back to all of the other boys. And Madhumangal comes very proudly, and he's walking, and he's thinking, wow, I'm looking so beautiful. And then the moment all the other boys see him, what happens? They all begin to laugh, and they begin to tease him, and they say, you look like such an idiot, you look like such a fool. And this way he became so angry, and he began to fight with all of the other cowherd boys. But the thing is, Madhumangal, if we read in the Shastra, he is described as a little bit, in India we say healthy, right? So Madhumangal is a little bit healthy. And all the other cowherd boys, what are they doing? They're out there in the fields working hard with all of these cows. They're taking such great care, so they're very fit. So Madhumangal, he throws the first punch. But the last punch is thrown by the other cowherd boys. And they're all fighting and wrestling so sweetly. Naughty, naughty boys, right? And in this way, they're fighting and wrestling with each other. But then eventually Madhumangal, because he's losing this fight, he goes up to Krishna and he says, Krishna, you are the son of Nanda Maharaj. That means you are basically the prince of Raj. I am a Brahmin. The kings, they should protect the Brahmins. So in this way, he convinces Krishna to protect him. And all of these pastimes to go along. And we see Balram, he is present in all of them. And yet when we hear all of these sweet pastimes, we might think, why is Balram there? Balram, he is born in that majestic prison cell. Balram, he is a kingly man. Rohini Putra. So we have something interesting. With whatever time I have, we will discuss a little bit about this. Because even though it might seem that Balram, he is very far away from this world. He's in the respectable world of kings. Actually, Balram belongs more in Raj than he belongs anywhere else. So, in order maybe to understand this, we should step back to that prison cell, right? We know very famously, right? Devaki and Vasudev, they're locked up, right? And which number child is it that's going to kill Kamsa? Who can tell me? Eighth. Eighth. Yeah, I heard a few sevens, it's eighth. It's the eighth child. Baladev is the seventh, right? And all of these 6 other childs who come before, we don't have enough time to discuss, but they are all representing different anarthas, different bad qualities of the mind. Mada, Matsarya, all of these terrible things our mind have, right? And because all of these terrible anarthas that are coming, they're emerging in the womb of Devaki. How can Krishna appear in such a place, right? How can Krishna appear in a place that is otherwise holding all of these different qualities? He cannot. And so Balaram appears first. One of the names of Baladev, does anyone know, is Shesh. Has anyone heard this before? So, Sheshnag, yes, so Sheshnag is one way we can understand it. But when we understand it in terms of the Vrindavan pastimes, Shesh means a person who escapes. Because Baladev is about to escape this prison, right? So, what happens is, Baladev, he appears first. And when he appears to make sure that there's no anarthas present anymore in the womb of Devaki. And then, of course, he leaves, right? He is gone. Now, what happens is, as we know, I don't want to make it a Janmashtami class, right? So we know all of these various things happen, and Krishna, he's about to be sent over to Vraj. But in the middle of the night, what happens is, there's a worry that Rohini, she won't be safe, right? She won't be safe in Dwarka, in Mathura, right? She won't be safe there. There's this real strong worry There's a real strong concern. And so her husband says, you should leave. But you should leave instantly. So what she does is she takes her little baby boy, right? And she takes this boy and she rides atop a very, very black horse. And upon this black horse, she rides into Vraj. And when she arrives, it's very interesting. Rohini. Does anyone know? In the stars, there's a thing called Rohini, right? Rohini constellation. And this Rohini constellation, if we understand all of these constellations, we know Jyotish is a very complex science, right? What? Is it funny? Okay. Okay. So it's a very complex science. And all of these astrological symptoms, they all have associated colors and associated items. And the associated color of the Rohini constellation is, does anyone know? Aruna, red. And red is the color of Sakyaras. Red is the color of friendly love. So here we see already Balram in his emergence. He is emerging as that very great friend of Krishna. So in this way, Rohini, she is riding on this horse, right? And she's bringing Balram, right? She's bringing Balram in. Now, there's something very interesting. How many days until Janmashtami? How many days separate Balaram's birth and Krishna's birth? Sorry? 7, 8, depend how you count, right? So what we see is there's quite a few days, right? Balaram, he is what? Younger brother or older brother of Krishna? Older brother, right? So here we have this great friend, born under the constellation that represents friendship. But he does not have his friend, right? He is being brought to Vraj, right? He's being brought to Vraj, but but he is left without the heart of Vraj. So, what does he do? Does anyone know what does Balaram do after he is born, after he is present in Vraj? As a little baby. Does anyone know? Actually, he does nothing. His parents become very concerned. He does not speak. He does not open his eyes. He does not hear. His body is there, so beautiful. It's described milky white, right? And also diamond-like. If we have time, we'll discuss the diamond-like. But milky white, so beautiful. And everyone is enchanted by him. But they become so concerned. He does not speak. He does not act. He doesn't do anything. But then what does happen? Krishna comes, right? Mother Jashoda, she gives birth to Krishna. And once Mother Jashoda gives birth to Krishna, then Balaram, he comes to life. We see Krishna, he is who? Bhoktaram yagya tapasam, right? What does this mean? Who can tell me? What does Bhoktaram yagya tapasam mean? All of the yagyas, all of the tapasyas, he is the enjoyer of them. Everything in existence is for Krishna. He is Sevya Bhagavan. Sevya means he is that Bhagavan who is served by everything. Sarva Loka Maheshwaram, right? He is the Lord of all of the worlds. But then who then is Balaram? Balaram is described as no less Bhagavan than Krishna. The only difference between Balaram and Krishna is that Balaram is Sevak Bhagavan. That Krishna who all of reality is serving, that Balaram is serving. And that is why Balaram, when he is born, he is not doing anything. Because where is the object of my service? Where is that person I can serve? Once I heard a very beautiful question asked. And this question was, we see that in Vraj, we see that in Vrindavan, right? Krishna, he is so pleased with the service of Srimati Radharani. He is so pleased with the service of Balaram. Correct or wrong? Right or wrong? He is very pleased, right? And if we say he's not pleased, then we are putting a fault on Baladev, who is Bhagavan himself. We are putting a fault on Srimati Radharani, who is Adi Shakti herself. So we can never say that there's even a tiny part that Krishna is not satisfied, correct? But then an interesting question comes. What is our Swarup? Jiber Swarup hoye Krishna Nitya Das. What service can we do if Balram and Srimati Radharani are always doing so much great service? I thought this was a fantastic question, you know. Actually, I thought it was a great question because whenever I think, I'm thinking, how can I get out of services? But this person was thinking, what services can I do, right? What service can be left if Bhagavan himself, in the form of Balaram, is serving Krishna? Does anyone want to know the answer or no? Do we want to know what the answer is or? Okay. So the answer was very interesting. The thing is, Balaram, he is so pleased. Krishna, he is so pleased by Balaram that he is always wanting to serve Balaram back. Krishna, he is so pleased by Srimati Radharani that he is always thinking, I want to serve Srimati Radharani back. But do they accept this service? No. Balaram, Srimati Radharani, they're always saying, Krishna, I don't want to be served by you. This is torture to think it. But you know what else is torture? Krishna thinking that he cannot serve Balaram. Krishna thinking that he cannot serve Srimati Radharani. And so the answer was Tatastha Shakti, Bheda Bhed Prakash, right? This Shakti that we are all Jivas. This Shakti, what is our service? Being Krishna Nitya Das, our service is that we can give service that Balaram and Srimati Radharani will accept. And in this way, Krishna is pleased. People have this idea, I will please Krishna directly, I will run up to Krishna and he'll be so happy with me. What sort of nonsense? Sorry, I don't want to be heavy, but what sort of nonsense? He is surrounded by Balaram, he's surrounded by Srimati Radharani. What help can we do that they are not doing? The help that we can do is we can serve Balaram, right? We can serve Srimati Radharani. Forget about that, we can serve those who are serving them. And then Krishna is so pleased. This is the service that we can do. So this is who Balaram is. Sevak Bhagavan. Balaram in that mood of service. Everything that Krishna needs, Balaram, he is always making sure it is there. When sometimes the cowherd boys, they would run around and they would say, Mother Jashoda, Mother Jashoda. You know Krishna, he's eating mud, right? If we read in Bhagavatam, famous pastime, when we read it, we'll see Mother Jashoda, the first thing she does, she doesn't say, oh Krishna, you rascal again. She does say that later, don't worry. But first thing she says is she says, Balaram, is this true? Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he says very sweetly. He says that the reason why she asks Balaram is because all the other boys are always trying to get Krishna in trouble. But Balaram, he is Sevak Bhagavan. He is always thinking, how can I serve Krishna? And she knows that Balaram will never lie to put him into trouble. Right? So in this way she asked. So Balaram in this way, he is always caring for Krishna. He is always looking out for him. And this is why Balaram belongs very much in Vraj. Right? We think in the terms of formalities, technicalities, right? Maybe it's too technical for a festival class, but you know, there's this idea. We have Diksha and we have Shiksha. Because Balaram, he is Adi Guru. He's the original Guru. All of the gurus in our lives, they're coming empowered by Balaram. And there are two types of guru. There's Diksha Guru, who is formally connecting us to Krishna. And we can consider Diksha, initiation, to be like birth. But then there is Shiksha Guru, who is telling us about Krishna, who is letting us learn about Krishna. Balaram, maybe by formalities, by Diksha, does not belong to Vraj. But by Shiksha, but by mood, but by realization, but by knowledge, he is the number one Vrajvasi. And so we see when Vasudev would meet Nanda Maharaj, he would ask Nanda Maharaj, how is your son Balaram? Because Balaram is a Vrajvasi through and through. And what makes him a Vrajvasi through and through? Sevak, service, right? We come to festivals and we think, wow, I will have so much fun. Fun doing what? Enjoying food, enjoying music? No. I will come and have so much fun Because Balaram is serving Krishna so well. And on this day, I have the opportunity to say something nice, to speak some glories, to hear about how beautiful Balaram is. And in that way, I can please Krishna. We see that Balaram in his whole life, he is always doing this, always in the humble mood of a servitor. In fact, often it's said, we should worship Krishna, but we shouldn't try to imitate him, If we base our lives on Krishna's behaviors, we will not end up in a good place. But Balaram, he is very much a role model. Actually, this is one of the things, because he's a kshatriya, right? So he has a little bit of that, nobility, right? He has a little bit of those refined qualities. And so Balaram, in this way, his whole life, he is always playing the perfect encapsulation of all of the qualities we should aspire for. Humble, reconciling. People often wonder, don't worry, I will conclude on this point for those who are next. People often wonder, Balaram, what is he doing? What is he doing at Kurukshetra, right? What is he doing at Kurukshetra? He's on the wrong side, right? Don't we often think this? Why is Balaram having this sort of favorability to the Kauravas? Right? Has anyone ever thought of this before? Right? It's very confusing. People ask this question. But actually, this is the beauty of Balram. Balram, he is like the glue of transcendence. Everything is joined by Balram, right? And so Balram will not take two sides on a war. He is joining everyone. Again, this is why he is Adi Guru. Balram is that person who joins. This is his compassionate, simple quality. And so when the Kurukshetra war begins to happen, what does Balram do? Does he stay? No. He goes on parikrama. Actually, I thought this is very nice, Sometimes we think there's sometimes politics and disagreement, sometimes even amongst devotees, right? And what do we always think? Oh, I want to have an opinion. Who's the right one? Who's the wrong one? We should do what Balaram does, If things are getting tense and everyone's disagreeing, just go to Vrindavan or something. Like, what are you doing, So Balaram, he's very much embodying this so sweetly, so lovely, right? And so Balram, in this way, he goes off, and he ends up in a very interesting place. There are all of these sages collected together, right? And all of these sages are sitting down. And there's one Brahmana who's sitting there as well. And he's about to speak a very important book. Has anyone heard of the Srimad Bhagavatam? He is about to speak this book. And so, as he begins to speak it, right? Or at least as they all come together in order to hear this Bhagavatam, what happens is Balaram, he arrives. And when Balaram arrives, everyone performs dandavats, right? Everyone is doing obeisances except for this speaker. So Balram, he takes a blade of grass and kills him. And so sometimes when people hear this story, they think, this is a very heavy story, right? Like this person, maybe a bit of an ego complex, right? But why does Balaram have to kill him? Why does Balaram have to kill this person who's just having a little bit of an out-of-control ego, right? It's very difficult. If Balram starts killing everyone with an out-of-control ego, it's not going to be good for me, right? So sometimes people wonder this. But we have to realize, what was this Sutta Goswami saying? The one that Baladev kills. What was he saying? He was speaking Srimad Bhagavatam. And Srimad Bhagavatam is what? Is Srimad Bhagavatam a book? Krishna himself. Balaram, even though he left the Kurukshetra battlefield in order to avoid fighting, now he's going here and he's killing people. Why is he doing this? He is doing this because Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna himself. And who is Balaram? He is Krishna's older brother. Balram, he is his older brother, and he is thinking, if this person is a person who will bring my brother into the world, he must take care of him properly. And so I will kill this person in order to protect my little brother Krishna. This is the mood of Balram. And so Balram does this. Koli kale naam rupe Krishna avatar, naam hoite hoye shorbo Jagat Nishtar, right? We hear in this Kali Yuga, the appearance of Krishna is what? It is his holy name. And where do we hear the holy name from? Bollywood movies, right? No. Sadhus, right? Guru. Guru is who we hear the holy name from. And that is why Balram empowers the Guru. Because my brother Krishna is about to enter into the world, and I will protect him to make sure that that person who is bringing my brother into this world is doing it properly. Does this make sense? Guru, Bhagavatam, all of these things are constantly Balaram always looking at Krishna. Always looking at Krishna and saying, here is my little brother, and I won't let anyone do anything bad to him. So, this is the magnificence of Balaram. And this is the essence of his mood. Constant and eternal service. All of the avatars, all of the Vishnu forms, everything, who are they coming from? They're coming from Balaram, right? All of these worlds, everything that is emanating, where is it coming from? Vishnu. And therefore Balaram, right? We know that in Vraj, the chairs, the tables, all of the various utensils, I'll wrap up in this point, don't worry. All of the utensils, they're all manifested by Balaram. All of these things, but not just those. Expanding out as Vishnu, all of these worlds are created and manifested and sustained by Balaram. And why does he do this? Balaram is doing all of this out of service to Krishna. All of this out of his seva mood to Krishna. Right? Krishna needs a planet to do his earthly pastimes on. I will make it. Right? Krishna needs all of these things for all of these jivas to be stored. I will make it. In this way, all of these worlds, they're coming from Balaram. And they're coming from what mood? They're coming from the seva bhav of Balaram. So then we wonder, what are we doing in this world? We say this world is a world of exploitation. No, your world is a world of exploitation. But this world is a world of service. Right? Bhoktaram yagya tapasam sarva loka maheshwaram suhridam sarva bhutanam yatvamam shantim richati. Right? Because when we understand this point, we will understand that all of these worlds, the Lord of all of these worlds, he is being pleased by Balaram. So what should I do in this world? Right? We think, oh, this material world is a bad place to do bhakti. No, our understanding of this material world is a bad place to do bhakti. The environment is always favorable. This world is always favorable because it is born out of service. Right? It is born out of service. That is the real world. The real world is a world that is coming out of Balaram's hand, and it is an offering to Krishna. So sometimes people say, you devotees, you yogis, you Hare Krishnas, live in the real world. But this is the real world, and it is the world of service. This is what reality is, and it is held in the hand of Balaram. So, I don't want to go too much more over time. I'm already committing so many aparads by messing up the schedule, but I hope we will all have a lovely time today, remembering Balaram. And if there's one thing I could encourage everyone as we come together today and have lots of fun, is to think the priority of my fun is that I might be able to exist in that real world of service, which is emanating from Balaram. From beginning to end, all of reality is Balaram's service. And if we enter into that mood of service that Balaram has, just the same as Balaram, who seems to be born somewhere else, but he is a Vrajvasi through and through, we will be able to become Vrajvasis. Not by crying while hearing Gopi Geet, not by talking about, sorry I'm being heavy, but not by talking about Radha and Krishna, but by serving like Balaram. Balram shows us, by that service attitude, we will be an inhabitant of Vrindavan. We will be an inhabitant of Vraj. So, if we wish to enjoy today, we can prioritize the enjoyment of everyone else. And by doing that, maybe we'll please Balram. And if we please Balram, we can do the only service we can do to Krishna, which is to serve his devotees. Shri Shri Balaram ki jai, Shri Shri Krishna Balaram ki jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Laisi Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Balaram Purnima Mamaho Mahotsava ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bo, Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhyeva Chapatitanam, Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.